Welcome to Inside Design with Kandrak and Cole, hosted by two nationally published Atlanta interior designers, Joann Kandrak and Kelly Cole. These energetic women are also world travelers, charity givers, and bloggers with a wealth of information to share and stories to tell about the interior design world. Okay, now just a warning, this is going to be fun and not too serious. After all, they still do have an interior design business running at full speed.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. This is Inside Design with Kandrak and Cole, and this is episode 58. And today is actually part 1 of 2, and we are discussing our pro tips for visiting Highpoint Market. We owe a lot of our success as designers to the fact that we've made a commitment every year, and many times twice a year, to invest our time and our travel funds to the Highpoint Furniture Market. It's here that we have created literally hundreds of relationships with manufacturers and artisans, a long list of leaders in our industry, and of course, our peers. So with over 12 million square feet of show space spanning over 180 buildings, Highpoint Market is the largest home furnishings trade show in the world. Yep. And it brings more than 75,000 people to the little town of Highpoint, North Carolina every 6 months to look at product from over 2,000 exhibitors.
So Highpoint Market is every April and October, and I think they do that because temperatures and the climate is not real extreme.
Yeah.
So it's those 2 months, and the registration for the fall show just opened on July 16th. So we thought it would be a perfect time to share our pro tips on how to navigate Highpoint Market, because we definitely consider ourselves professionals.
Yep.
I've been visiting Highpoint Market for over 25 years.
Oh my God.
And Kelly for 14 years.
Yep.
So we'll start with some basics, and then we'll get some of the juicy tips from our personal experience.
So the upcoming show is October 19th to 23rd. Like Joann said, registration is just opened, and really the biggest thing we can tell you, if you've never been, and if you have been, then you know what we're saying is legit. The biggest tip we can give you is that you need to register and start planning right now. So if you register in advance, you can get your pass in the mail and avoid the lines when you get there. And believe me, you just want to eliminate as much hassle as possible the entire time you're there. So standing in line is just something you might just save yourself and avoid it.
I mean, I feel like the Highpoint Market Authority is very, very good about trying to get people through, and
Yes,
everybody is so nice and so welcoming. But there's still long lines.
Yeah.
And even though they have several people working it, you just don't want to waste. You have to use your time. So it's so valuable because
for sure.
There's so much area to cover that you want to make sure that that's one thing that you don't have to do. Another thing you can do is to check out the plan your trip portion. If you go to highpointmarket.org, and they'll give you some tips and tricks you might not hear from us. And also there's pre-planning videos, which just launched on July 15th. So plan is the first tip.
Yeah, it sounds kind of obnoxious, but I'm telling you, when there's 75,000 people there, it just helps. But I really do. They've got a lot of resources, like Joann said, and they have a Highpoint Market app that you can use to keep track of the exhibitors and the events you want to go to, and create your own schedule, which is super helpful.
It was really nice. When I was just at the Mart here in Atlanta last week, I downloaded the America's Mart app.
Yep.
And normally, we used to carry this little booklet. And another thing, carry the least amount of stuff that you can.
Oh,
but
gosh,
I put the app on, and I was like, okay, I don't remember where that vendor is. You just go right to the exhibitors, and it tells you exactly where to go. So that is key, because you'll have it all just right in your phone.
Yep, exactly.
All right, so where to stay? Like we said, the town of Highpoint is not very big.
And it seriously only comes alive during Highpoint Market twice a year. It's the sleepiest, quietest town, and then all of a sudden, twice a year, it's like crazy town.
Now Marcor, which we found out, they're open all year long. So I think there might be some
that
are trying to stay open all year long, because I guess if you live close enough and can drive there, it might be worth your while to drive there. A lot of the places fill up very quickly, though. Like we usually book 6 months. I mean, we book when we leave the spring show to go ahead and book for the fall show. So you have to book early. I say you do it as soon as we're done with this podcast.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we're not joking. There's nothing available 2 months before market. So we used to stay. Remember when we very first started? We stayed in Salzburg. We stayed at
Salisbury.
Which is like half an hour out. Anyway. And then we moved into Greensboro, and Greensboro's got tons of options. It's only like a 15 to 20 minute drive in the morning. Super easy, no traffic like we're used to here in Atlanta. And there's 2 super nice ones that you probably will never get into, but we'll throw them out there in case you want to get on their wait. We're on their waiting list just in case by chance they call. But one is the Proximity Hotel, which is a LEED certified hotel that's stunning, and then the O. Henry is another super pretty one in Greensboro. But there's plenty of other that we've stayed at. We've stayed at like Garden Inn, Fairfield Inn, Comfort Suites,
those kinds of places. And we drive because we're within a 4-hour, 5-hour drive. But if you fly in, all of those hotels will shuttle you into Highpoint. Don't even worry about it. I mean, don't rent a car. Just shuttle from the hotel, or Uber, Lyft, whatever. Don't rent a car. Yeah.
Now in Highpoint itself, you really don't have very many choices at all. There's the Red Lion, which is it's hilarious to just say it. Like, what is that? It used to be the Radisson. It's literally 15 steps from the IHFC building. It's where we stay. We don't. It's not plush. Let's just put it that way. But it is so convenient. But people always say, "Oh my God, how do you even get a room there?" And
just get on the waiting list. I was surprised. We thought we could never get in there, and we put ourselves on the list, and they call us the next time around.
You have to send in a form, and
we cannot forget the best part of the Red Lion. In the lobby, there's a woman who...
This is your tip of the day, people.
Tip of the day. There's a woman, and you don't have to be staying there to see her. She is a reflexologist. She gives foot massages.
Yep.
And she's the nicest person, and she is there from morning until night. If you tell her you want to come there at 11 o'clock, she has appointments.
At night.
People are just, So...
We book her ahead before we even get there. We book her about 2 weeks in advance, and we book her for every single night at around 8:30.
Yeah, because we're in bed at 9.
But the J.H. Adams Inn is also super beautiful historic place, and Pandora's Manor bed and breakfast is also super cool. So if you're a planner and you don't mind getting on a waiting list, those two would be so nice to stay at.
The Airbnb and VRBOs, I'm sure there are several of those, but this is usually what the furniture manufacturers do. They rent out homes, and they're for their salespeople to stay and all that. So
because they're there for a solid 2 weeks or more.
Yeah. So we've never tried to do that, but I think if you have a group of people and everybody wants to kind of stay, got to share bathrooms and stuff, but it's another way to be
a bunch of our designer friends have done that. It's just the two of us usually, so we don't do that, but it's nice to just go back and be in a home, So there's like choices, but there's not a lot of choices. So all we can just say is do your research, and literally if you're going to go in October, book your hotel right now.
Yeah. You can't be doing this 2 weeks before. Nope. Not about to happen. Okay. So the other
priority in our life
is where to eat.
You cannot be tired. I mean, you can't be hungry and
I don't
fatigued.
know what it is. We always say this. The minute we get to Highpoint, like all of a sudden I'm starving.
It's because your brain is prepared for the massive overload that is about to occur for 3 straight days.
It's like the minute we get there, I'm ready to eat something. So we have our few favorite showrooms that serve excellent meals.
And this is where it pays to have good relationships with your showrooms and your manufacturers, and we plan ahead. So, of course, your showroom favorites and your relationships might be totally different from ours, but some of the ones that we particularly love for ourselves are, let's start with
Theodore Alexander. Okay, top of the list.
Top of the list, by far.
We buy a lot from them, and we love their product, but it is like fine dining in that place.
Their dinners. I mean, it's tenderloin and fresh vegetables and mashed potatoes and just like, oh my gosh.
Amazing desserts. And it's every night.
Yeah.
Every night.
Yeah.
Okay.
So can't go in unless you're a buyer though. Yeah. So better set up your account.
Yep. Okay. Lee Industries.
Best lunch.
Yeah, we've
Best
never had
lunch
dinner
ever.
there, but such great lunches. Same thing.
And one of my favorite showrooms in all of High Point.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful.
Natural Light, Uttermost. They have good lunches, quick and easy, like salads and sometimes pasta and whatever. Left Bank Art. That's one of our favorites for parties and
these
cocktails.
Left Bank Art always has a really fun party and good like a signature drink or something.
Yep. I think the number one reason for opening up an account with Row Furniture, which isn't easy to do, but if you have the means to do so, you should open up an account just so on Sunday afternoon you can go to lobster roll lunch because it's the highlight of our week. It really is.
Yeah.
Lexington has great.
They're off the beaten path, but it's worth it.
Their showroom's incredible.
Showroom, they have a lot, it's a big showroom. And then Vanguard
lunch is good.
Which is really good too.
And we always tell ourselves, we are not eating carbs. We're not eating sweets because we're going to we will fade and we need so much energy. And then all of that goes completely out the door at about 3:00 when our feet are killing us.
Oh, and then
I'm like, I need wine.
You're walking along at the aisles and all of a sudden, like, this aroma of like fresh baked chocolate chip cookies. I mean, these people are trying to lure you in.
Oh, yes.
And people can be, lured in by food for sure.
Yeah. Now, we're not ones to go out to dinner because we go to bed so early. But that's just us. We're weird that way. But lots of people go out to dinner fairly late, and it's just a great time to get together with peers and friends. And there's some good ones. Saigon and Greensboro is one that is a big fan favorite. The proximity always has parties and food and whatever. The Parsons Table is kind of cool. It's in town. The Doghouse Burgers everybody talks about. And then there's Simply Thai. That's kind of halfway if you're on your way to stay in Greensboro.
I'm assuming this is another thing. You're not going to make reservations when you get there. You probably need to make them, way in advance.
Way in advance, yeah. So food is key just because you need to be feeling good. And so...
All right, getting around. Okay.
Yes.
It's completely overwhelming if you've never been. And even if you have been, there's so much space and so much to see that it's hard to get it all done in just a few days. So this is how we do it. Okay, so we don't make, a lot of reps will want you to make appointments with them. We don't make appointments except for like basically our top 4. And everybody does that differently. It's just sometimes we may be on one side of town and it's like, oh no, we have to get over to whatever. And it kind of just sort of, takes away some of the freedom. Sometimes we might be, walking along an aisle and we see something and we might want to check it out. So we arrange the top 75. We go to 75 showrooms.
I mean, I didn't sit down and count them, but when you think about our list that we make and we laminate, it's pages upon pages.
Yeah, I guess we don't really think about it.
We don't always go to all of them, but...
So we arrange the showrooms by the buildings and their locations. So you're not running, back and forth, like I said, because it's acres and acres. So, we
also organize them alphabetically. So for quick reference.
Yeah. So IHFC, which is the big main building they call it, which is the International Home Furnishings Center. We save that for rainy days. And then across the street is Showplace, because those are a lot to see in just one building. And then there's a lot on the outskirts that are it's just that one company. So, if you're going to go and if it's raining, you want to spend your days in those inside buildings.
Yep. So I kind of think of High Point kind of for us, like in quadrants that are easy to navigate. So like she said, IHFC and Showplace are these massive buildings, you're inside for hours on end. And we really do. We really plan our week depending on the weather because so much of it is outside.
No, we don't. We plan it on the food. Just be honest
Joann,
with the people.
Shush, don't tell.
It's all about the food.
It is. And then kind of down the way from IHFC is Market Suites, C&D building, kind of all nestled together. So we always hit those at the same time. And then there's a whole nother area called the Hamilton Wren kind of 200 Steel area. And it's all walkable, but let me tell you, your feet, I think we walk anywhere. I think we average about 15,000 steps. We've easily made it to 20 in one day.
But if you can save your feet, the Highpoint Market Authority is great about getting you places quickly. They have this Go Anywhere bus. It's got a little flag on it. It's like a little white van, and it will take you anywhere in the area. They have pedicabs if you want to do that for fun. And then a lot of the manufacturers have their own vans. That there's Lexington, Theodore Alexander. You see them. You have to be
but like if you're at Theodore Alexander looking around and you want that your next stop is all the way over at C&D building, then they will take you. So that's super nice. And of course, there's always the Red Line, which is the one we jump on the most, big buses.
And a lot of times the Highpoint, in that big IHFC building, they have a lot of speakers. Remember Carson Kressley and Tom Felicia?
Oh yeah, we're going to get to that.
I think we did talk about that on one of our other shows. But
yes,
so that was so that too. You want to plan educational type things you want to see too.
Yeah, literally, we're mapping out our favorite showrooms, where they're located by building, and then alphabetical, because sometimes you just need a quick, and we're planning our day that way. We're planning our day. For example, Row is located in Showplace, and that's Sunday lobster lunch. So we will navigate the day backwards on Sundays. But so there you go. So like we said, this is part one of part two of two segments that we're going to do on Highpoint Market. And as we get closer to the October show, we will have our whole list put together, and we will also have all of the parties and all of the great
the parties
educational events going on. And so we'll be announcing then that our list will be for sale.
Well, what's really funny, because whenever we go and we pull out our list,
people laugh.
This is why we've decided
it's we laminate it because we're so queer.
This is really valuable.
Yeah,
like there's so much good information here. It'll save you so much time. So yeah, we're very proud of our little list.
That'll be for sale as we get closer. So now, if you're totally brain dead and you just want to get away and do something else other than look at showrooms all day, we want to bring your attention to two things you can do. First is the Highpoint Designer Show House at the Dalton Bell Cameron House, which is sponsored by Aspire Design and Home, and the Junior League of Highpoint, is opening on October 19th, and it goes all the way to November 3rd. So, you know what? Take a detour. We've done this, and it was just nice to just stop focusing on product for a few minutes. I've
enjoyed that. And, there are some people that some of their towns don't have. I mean, Atlanta has show houses a lot, but there are some cities that really don't do that. So it's a great way to take advantage of, seeing some other designers' work.
Yeah. And then one other favorite that we have not been to yet, but we keep hearing so much about it, and I'm going to say it wrong, but it's the Bean and Stock Furniture Library that's actually in Highpoint, and it is the largest furniture specialty library in the world with over 5,000 volumes. So it's one of the few, if not only, places in the world where design professionals and students and the public can go in, put white gloves on, and examine original works from pioneer designers and architects, and it's super cool. They've been really trying to revitalize it and bring a lot of attention to it.
So much about it, but we haven't done it.
It's right there.
We need to do it.
Yeah, we totally
need to do it. Okay, so what to wear? It's really interesting because there used to be a day when you would never wear a dress with tennis shoes. Mm-hmm. But let me just tell you what, tennis shoes are everybody's wearing them.
Funky ones.
Yeah.
So go get your golden gooses now.
The loafers and whatever. You will see people with stilettos and
fools,
and you'll do a double take and go, why?
Yeah. I mean, it's so hard because my family's like, oh God, she's going to Highpoint again. I'm like, listen, I'm going to be around all my peers. I have to look cool and stylish and whatever, but I have to be comfortable. I get hot all the time. My feet are always killing me. This is difficult.
Yeah. So yeah, comfortable layers, really good shoes, because otherwise you'll be miserable.
I wore sneakers, I have a few different kinds. I have gentle soles. I've got track. I've got my P40 448s that are my Golden Goose kind of knockoffs. But yeah, nobody looks at your feet. So just stay cute from waist up and don't worry about the rest. But yeah, if you're not comfortable, you're going to be so miserable. And I also pay a lot of attention to the bag I'm carrying, because you can't bring roller bags into most of the showrooms, and those people that do get sneered at because we're always tripping over them. So I always make sure that my bag is really, really light and it has wide straps, because at the end of the day, it's digging into my shoulders. Inevitably, I'm always carrying water, and
the other
my bag
thing
is
is
heavy.
Yeah, a lot of reps will want to give you catalogs to take. We just don't take them. Just have them mail them to you, because you'll just get too many, and just give them your cards. And bring lots of cards, because you're going to meet a lot of new people. And
yep. And so when your feet are killing you, or even when they're not killing you, we used to never do this because we're like, oh no, we have too much to do. We've got so many showrooms. But seriously, make some time to go onto the highpointmarket.org site, or to listen to us and look at all of the classes, conferences, seminars that are being offered in the Highpoint Theater. There's a lot in the Highpoint Theater, and various seminar rooms around Highpoint that are discussing social media, PR, advice from experts, panel discussions, best practices, trends. I mean, it's really nice to just take an hour and get off your feet and sit back. And
we've learned a lot.
We've
learned a lot from those things.
But that's when Carson Kressley and Tom Felicia, and I laughed for a straight hour.
It was perfect, because it was 3:00. Our feet were killing us, and we were just getting a little brain dead. It totally re-energized. I mean, I still think about that day, and I just laughed. I just laughed to myself.
Yeah, and the Highpoint Theater is really comfortable, and it's nice and cold, and great.
They really try to make it a nice experience, because it is a lot of work, and so there's a lot of parties, and there's a lot of things to do. But then there's Stars Under the Stars,
yes,
which is right in between the Highpoint between IHFC and Showplace, and they bring in talent. Like, we've seen Casey and the Sunshine Band there. Jody Messina was there. Who was there last time? Blossom? This last
Gin
trip?
Blossoms.
Oh, Gin Blossoms.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know who they were. I didn't know who they were.
But we always say, no, we're too tired. We're not going to go. And then one year we go to see Casey and the Sunshine Band. It was one of those where you're like, this is so stupid. I really shouldn't go. And then you know every word to every song. And we had chugged 6 Miller Lights or whatever we did that night.
It was one of my most fun memories.
And
of
we
Highpoint.
pushed ourselves to the front, excuse me, I'm joining a friend. Excuse me, all the way to the front row, where my chin was on the stage. And we had
a blast.
It was hysterical.
Yeah,
really good. So between the parties and the seminars and the food, and you have to go. If you haven't been, you have to go.
If you're a designer and you have not been to Highpoint,
I seriously don't know how you function as a professional.
You have no idea what you're missing. I mean, we really, really love it.
How do you see? I mean, most importantly, besides all the fun we're talking about, let's get down to the meat of it. You've got to see the new product. You've got to see the new trends. You've got to see what these manufacturers are offering. You've got to build these relationships with manufacturers, open these accounts, how do you sell to your clients?
I want to see these things in person. I want to sit in them. I can't just design from a catalog.
Well, that's really the most important thing is we just gave a presentation this week, and our client said, well, where can we sit in these? And we said, nowhere. I mean, if I'm selling you a Vanguard chair we know is the most comfortable thing on the earth, where can you go sit in one? They're just these furniture stores aren't around anymore, so you have to trust us. We've sat in them. We can tell you it's deep, it pitches back, it's got a Tempur-Pedic this, or whatever.
And they can't possibly put all that stuff on their floor.
No, there's no way.
There's just no space. Yeah. So here's some quick, fun facts about Highpoint that you might think
I didn't
great.
know these actually.
Yeah. So the amount of showroom space at Highpoint Market is equal to 201 football fields.
Wow.
I mean,
that's a lot of product.
201.
And think about the product that has to fill that. In an average market, the Highpoint transportation system takes over 150,000 trips
Okay, this is a 5-day show, so think about that.
That's amazing.
All right. The construction, this blows my mind. The construction that occurs in the IHFC building alone, each year is equal to building 1,200 single-family homes.
I can imagine because every showroom, there's always something new and awesome. Here's the last one. The city of Highpoint recycles over 500 tons of cardboard each market. And again, this is a 5-day period. Oh my God, 500 tons. That's just amazing. The amount of product.
Yeah.
So we hope that you'll stay tuned to the Highpoint Market Authority website. It will go live. The What's New section, which is something to keep an eye on, will go live the week of Labor Day. And that tells you all about, it gives you product images, showroom news, launches and debuts. And that's a big thing because every market's different and there's new and exciting stuff coming out. And then we will be back for part 2 on Inside Design with Kendra and Cole on September 25th to tell you more specifically of what our plans are and how our schedule is shaping up so that you can follow along with us, and we'll have our fancy dancy list for sale that we put together. And again, you can always get in touch with us via social media, kendra@cole.com, and ask us any questions you want. We are
seasoned.
Yeah, we are seasoned. We will help you if you need anything at all. Honestly, send us a quick note and we'll help you out.
Yeah.
So thank you, Highpoint Market Authority, for always just doing such an amazing job. We're really looking forward to it. So let's leave you guys with some good quotes for the day. All right, I'm going to do the funny one today because today's my birthday and I'm trying to relax. I have to work all day today and I need a laugh. Okay. My wife asked me why I spoke so softly in the house. I said I was afraid Mark Zuckerberg was listening. She laughed. I laughed. Alexa laughed and Siri laughed. You know what?
So,
it's funny, but not funny.
I know.
Right? It's so real.
I know. Yep.
Totally. We're all being spied on.
Yep. I heard this new face app.
Yeah.
Have you seen this?
I'm not doing it. I can't.
I'm not doing it. Well, no, I don't want to see how I'm going to look when I'm 70.
As my friend Katie said on Facebook, I cannot undo in my brain what I saw. Yeah. So forget it. I'm not doing it.
But there's some security information thing behind that because they're owned by a Russian company, blah, blah, blah.
I'm just not doing it. Forget it. I don't even know that.
It's not serious. It's just a good thing to think about.
Okay.
Okay, here it is. When babies take their first step and then fall on their bottoms, we praise the first step. We don't criticize their fall. I think we adults could learn a lesson here. We spend more time criticizing our falls and not enough time applauding our small steps. I needed that. I needed that.
Yeah, we've had a challenging and very, very busy summer, and we need to give ourselves a break. Sometimes we're very hard on ourselves. Yes.
So I hope you enjoyed that. I love talking about Highpoint. It's just such a great part of our business. And so, like we said, if you are interested in hearing more and want to reach out to us, we'd be glad to tell you anything you want to know.
And look out for part 2 on September 25th. We'll talk more about the specific launches coming out, some new showrooms opening, and especially what parties we will be attending. So,
okay. Have a good one, everybody.
Thank you
for
for listening. Bye.
Join Joann and Kelly weekly for a lively conversation about trends, travels to industry events, current design projects, the good, the bad, and the ugly, do's and don'ts, product recommendations, and more. Be sure to follow the fun on Facebook. They're on Instagram @Kandrak-Cole, and of course, you've got to visit them online at kandrak-cole.com for more information.